I hope you are doing great. I'm Dr. Hossein Kasiwas, Professor of Applied Linguistics, and today I'm going to talk to you about a very essential topic that every educator deals with, okay? This topic is about assessment, but here I'm going to focus and talk in details about the principles of assessment. And here there are 6 principles. Number 1, validity, reliability, fairness, practicality, authenticity, and transparency. Now, assessment is not about grading learners, okay? But it's about helping learners to learn and to grow, okay? And how can we make a strong and useful test or exam? We can do all these things by implementing these very essential, principles. Number 1, validity. What do we mean by validity? I would like to ask a question. Does the assessment measure what it's supposed to measure? Let's give an example of, I would like to test my students' writing skills, but in the exam, I give them multiple choice tests on grammar. So here I'm not just testing writing, but I'm testing grammar. So this test is not valid. How can we make it valid? We need to give them, for example, an essay to write, a paragraph to write, or a short email to write about. Number 1. Number 2, reliability. And the question here is, does the assessment produce consistent results over time? An example. So imagine you tested 2 students who have got the same knowledge, the same experience, and the same lessons they have learned about. Once you corrected, one got 90% and one got 50%. And remember, these 2 learners have got the same knowledge, the same skills, and everything is similar. So this test is not reliable because it doesn't give us the same result, consistent result. An example, imagine you take a weighing scale to see your weight, okay? And then you weigh yourself and you get 70 kilos. After 5 minutes, you weigh yourself again, but you got 50 kilos. Would you trust the scale? No, of course. It's the same for reliability. We need to, work on an exam or a test that must be very reliable. If we test the same learners under the same conditions, we have to get the same results, okay? Number 3 is fairness. Is the assessment free from bias? What do we mean by fairness? Now, imagine you give your students a reading test, and the topic of the test, is the ice hockey. But your learners are not familiar with this sport or with this topic, okay? So this exam or this test is not fair. Basically, a fair exam is taking into account topics or contents are very common for your learners, like travel, education, etc. Okay, so we need to test them about content that is very familiar. Another example, your learners live in Africa, in Sahara, but then you give them a reading text about skiing. But the majority have never ever heard or seen, the snow. So this test is not fair, okay? So we need to work on the content that must be very familiar to our learners. For example, we can give them a topic about Sahara, a topic that is very familiar to our learners. Number 4 is practicality. Is the assessment feasible in terms of time, resources, and effort? An example, you may test students and you have 500 students, and the exam is based on one-on-one interviews. So this exam may take weeks, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. So it's time-consuming, too much effort for both, for the teacher and the learner. So that exam is not practical, okay? And number 5, authenticity. Does the assessment reflect the real-world tasks? An example, you are testing your learners, and then the whole task is about multiple choice, multiple choice, multiple choice. What about real life communication, real life tasks, real life situations? Okay, so we need to include a conversation, a dialogue, writing, etc. So that test is not authentic because there is no dialogues, no conversations, no paragraph, etc. It's all, I mean, all of it is based on multiple choice. Okay. And number 6 is transparency. Transparency, here the question, do students clearly understand the assessment criteria? You give a test to your learners with no rubrics, so they don't know, okay, what are the questions that will get more, points? What are the questions that will get less points? And sometimes we may lose points because of the absence of rubrics. So that test, there's a problem with the transparency. So please, when you make a test, provide them with the grading rubrics. They need to know how much per every single exercise or single question or item in your test. Now, as a conclusion, assessment, as I said at the very beginning, is not about giving grades. It's about helping learners to learn and to grow so we can create a positive learning experience for all of them. Now, to make a strong and useful test, don't forget to implement validity, reliability, fairness, practicality, authenticity, and transparency. Thank you.